What's up guys, Sagi here, and welcome to another Tech Gear Talk. Today I'm going to tell you about a brand new USB microphone from Elgato, the Wave 3. This thing is absolutely awesome. It's designed specifically for creators, and if you're looking to start streaming, if you're gaming, doing a podcast, or if you need a voiceover mic for YouTube videos or tutorials, the Wave 3 is an excellent option. What's nice here is that Elgato combined this microphone launch with a new piece of mixing software called Wavelength, which again is designed for the type of work that a lot of us do versus what you might need in a recording studio. So it's really the combination of the mic and the software that together create a simple but very powerful workflow for creators. I'm going to walk you through all the features, and I'm going to do several different mic tests and comparisons so that you can hear this microphone before you pick one up for yourself. I'll cover most of the specs as well, but I'm going to focus more on the actual sound because specs are kind of useless without actual performance. If you're into gaming or streaming, you probably already know Elgato from their capture cards, the Stream Deck, and more recent additions to their lineups like the Keylight and the Multi-Mount. I was pretty stoked when they announced Project Wave, and I can tell you that I've been pretty happy with the results. So let's get going with what's in the box. Alright, to start out with, the box is consistent with Elgato's branding in terms of look and feel. I have the Wave 3 and there's also a Wave 1, so I'll discuss the differences later on in this video and I'll help you choose. The Wave looks really clean. It's all matte black, so it should fit right in with pretty much any setup, and it's got a little bit of an old school look. It comes attached to a desk stand which raises the mic a couple inches off the surface of the desk and also lets you pivot the microphone to get to the right angle. This is what's called a side address mic, which means that you don't want the top of the microphone pointed at your mouth. You want to have the side, which in this case is the front, pointed at your mouth, and that's because the capsule is pointed this way and not up. Now, one last thing for the best result, position the mic about 8 inches away from your mouth. Now, the microphone has a cardioid pickup pattern, meaning that it's going to pick up sound coming from the front, then it's going to start rejecting sounds that come from the sides and definitely from the back. To put it simply, if you have the side of the microphone pointed at your mouth, it will focus on what you're saying and it will try to block out the rest of the sounds coming from other directions. Now, a feature that I was super excited about and that you should really care about is called Clip Guard. Essentially, this works like a hard limiter so that your audio doesn't clip. Let me explain what that is and why it's important. If you've ever seen audio waves or an audio meter, you know that they move up and down depending on how loud your recording is. And if you get too loud, based on the gain level that you selected, you'll start hearing this horrible distortion in the audio, and that's called clipping. You can easily replicate this by turning up the volume beyond what like a pair of headphones or speakers are supposed to output. With a speaker or headphones, that's not a huge deal because you can turn the volume down and continue to listen. But when you're recording, if you record audio that's distorted because you either got really excited during a part of a game or you're talking about something that you're really passionate about, now your source is ruined. So Elgato, who designed the Wave in collaboration with the audio experts at Lewitt, integrated what they called their proprietary clip guard technology into the analog to digital converter. Now this means that the Wave will automatically compress those super high sounds before they clip and then deliver the proper levels to your computer. So what does this actually mean to you? It means that you can set your levels one time and then completely forget about them. Another great feature that I'm super glad Elgato added to the Wave 3 is this capacitive or tap to mute at the top. I have this feature on another one of my USB mics, and it's so convenient to tap it whenever you need to quickly mute or unmute the mic. When you press it, you'll see that the LED around the multifunction dial turns red, and then it goes back to white if you tap the mic again. Now moving on, there's also a multi-layered internal pop filter which will help knock down some of those plosives and make your audio easier to listen to. If you want to take the next step there, Elgato does sell an external pop filter for $29.99, and that fits right on the front of the microphone. Now, the bottom of the microphone and the frame seem to be made of plastic, and the grate is metal. And we also have a nice control panel on the front with a multifunctional dial. So the dial lets you adjust input gain, output volume, and the crossfade between your mic and the PC audio mix. And I really like what they did with this design because instead of adding separate dials for each function, you can just press the dial and then it will alternate between all three options. Now the first option is mic gain, which adjusts the volume of your voice. The second option is the monitor volume. So on the back of the mic, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. So you can just throw on a pair of headphones and then monitor your audio while you're recording. And this second position will adjust the headphone volume. Now the third option adjusts the mix between the real-time monitoring and the audio coming from your computer as it's being played through the headphones. And with all three options, you're going to use this knob to make adjustments, and you'll see the LEDs light up to indicate the levels. The stand is made of metal and it's nice and heavy, and there's also this rubbery material on the bottom that's going to keep your mic from moving around and provide some dampening, so less of the sounds that you make by hitting your desk or moving your mouse are transferred to the microphone. Now ideally we would want a shock mount for best results, and if that's something that you're interested, Elgato sells an optional shock mount for $39.99, which you can attach to a boom or microphone arm. Now, whether you use a shock mount or not, the Wave does come with an adapter so that you can attach it to an existing boom arm like this one. Now, this gets the mic off the desk so it's not in my way, and it lets me position it in any angle that I want, and it works really well for me. Now, the last thing we have in the box is an 8-foot USB to USB-C cable, which will plug into the back of the Wave and then connect it to your computer. And I like the fact that we have such a long cable because I can easily get this to reach my PC without needing an extension cable. Now before I move on to the sound test, if you like what you've seen so far, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. It helps the video and the channel, and it lets me know what kind of content you guys like so that I can make more of it. If this is your first time here, go ahead and hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you can stay up to date on all the latest gear and tutorials. Alright, so now let's move on to some sound tests. First, we'll just listen to the unedited sound coming from the microphone at different gain levels. Then we'll do some tests with the mouse and the keyboard. We'll compare it to what we get from the built-in microphone on the camera, and then I'll add a little bit of post-processing so we can compare the raw audio to the post-processed version. Okay, so let's start out with listening to the different gain levels from the microphone. I'm starting at the lowest level. I'm moving on to the second dot now, and now I'm going to go to the third one, and hopefully you can hear that this is starting to amplify my voice. Now what's going to be nice to see as I move to the higher gain levels here is whether the microphone does clip or if the clip guard actually works and stops me from clipping. So now I'm moving, again I'm on 4. I'm going to move into 5 and then 6. So now I'm almost at the highest level that this microphone can record. And now I'm at full blast. So I can't imagine that this is where you would need to be, but I have it up here, and let's see whether or not this clips. So wow, I can actually see the levels over there on my computer, and I don't think it clipped, but I think it got almost to the top. So it'll be interesting to see whether it actually got to 0 and distorted, or if ClipGuard actually kept it below that. All right, and now I went ahead and grabbed a K95 RGB Platinum XT, which is one of the keyboards that I'm working on reviewing right now. And this one has Cherry MX Browns, so that'll just give you a reference for the sound. I'm also using the Darkor RGB SE, and I did a comparison between some of the best Corsair mice, so I'll link to that up in the corner and in the description. And I'm going to go ahead and just type for a while, and then I'll start talking and type while I'm talking. I'll use the mouse and we'll see what the microphone picks up. Okay, and now just using the mouse. And now I'm just going to talk while I'm typing, and we can see whether the sound of the keyboard is too distracting or whether the microphone is doing a good job of still picking up my voice and then attenuating the sound from the keyboard. Now the next test I'm going to do is the sound coming from the camera versus what the microphone is recording. And if you've watched any of my videos before, I pretty much tell you that you should only use the audio from your cameras as a last resort. Whenever you have an option, you should use an external microphone. I think this is an excellent option. Using an external microphone is always going to give you better sound than the microphone on your camera because it's positioned so much closer to you and it has better audio components than what your camera has. And then the final test is going to be raw versus edited audio. So I'm going to switch back and forth during this section between just the raw audio that the Wave 3 created with no plugins, nothing running on the computer. And then I'm going to do some post-processing to the audio so that you can see what can be done with just a little bit of work. And that's really nice if you're doing voiceovers for tutorials. But even if you're live streaming, you can have plugins run in real time like compressors that will really help your audio sound better. So again, in this section, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a sound test so you can see whether doing that extra work is really worth it for you. All right, so now that we're done with the sound test, I want to talk about the Wavelength software. As I mentioned before, it's custom built for content creators with the goal being streamlined workflow, excellent audio quality, and a simple to control interface for Twitch streams, YouTube videos, or podcasts. Now here are a couple of important features. So you can create two independent output mixes, one that you listen to in your headphones and another one for your audience. And you can monitor them on the fly. An example where this would come into play is, let's say you want to play a game while you're listening to your favorite playlist, but you don't want that included in your stream because, copyright issues. So you can still listen to your favorite music in your mix and then use royalty-free music in the actual stream. You can incorporate up to 8 channels so you can have multiple mics, game audio, voice chat, music alerts, and samples, and then in real time mix your vocals with those 8 other sources, which is crazy powerful. Now, once you have everything set up and mastered, you can bring Wavelength as a master audio source into OBS. And it's these types of workflow improvements that remove the friction from the creative process. You can also set up audio profiles so you can instantly mute your mic and turn on music during a break, or you can mute your mic and then turn up the in-game audio during a cutscene. Essentially, you can create multiple profiles and then quickly and easily switch between them whenever you want. And since Wavelength works with Stream Deck, you can access your audio features at the touch of a button. Now finally, Elgato says that Wavelength uses less than 1% of your CPU, and of course there's no need for any audio processing hardware. Alright, so all in all, I think this is a very powerful combo, and let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. We're getting great audio quality, a very user-friendly interface with very intuitive controls, sound distortion protection with ClipGuard, and an easy-to-use but powerful digital mixer. I mentioned that there are 2 versions, the Wave 1 and the Wave 3. And there are just a couple of differences between them. So the Wave 1 does not have the tap to mute button. The control dial only controls headphone volumes and mute rather than also controlling the input gain and the mic PC monitor crossfade. And the max sample rate is 48 kHz versus 96 kHz on the Wave 3. And the Wave 3 sells for $159.99 and the Wave 1 sells for $129.99. So you can decide if those extra features are worth it for your particular setup, or if you'd rather spend that money elsewhere. If you want me to create more content around the Wave project, or if you want to hear more comparisons with other mics, let me know in the comment section. I'll put links in the description to where you can pick up both of these mics, and there are always specials and discounts, and the links will automatically be updated with the lowest prices. I really hope I was able to give you a good overview of this new mic from Elgato. If I did, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, tweet it, share it, and if you haven't yet, join the community by hitting the subscribe and notification buttons. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Tech Gear Talk. You know what I always say, buy it nice or buy it twice. Good luck and see you soon.